Time is speeding up, and you can feel it. Years are starting to blur together, and if you don't change something now, the next 5 will look just like the last 5. There is one habit that can stop that from happening, and most people never build it. This habit is the conscious and sustained application of definite purpose, enforced by prompt decision and cemented by unwavering persistence. The definite aim and the clock, igniting the burning desire. My friend, the reason your time blurs is simple. You have lacked a clear target. You cannot strike oil if you do not start drilling in one definite place with the necessary conviction that oil is present. To randomly test the ground in 10 different places is to waste time and energy, guaranteeing failure through diffusion of effort. This is the difference between working and working with wisdom, between aimless activity and directed effort. For too long, you have been engaged in vague wishing, which is only a pleasant form of idleness, a comfortable way to avoid the rigor of committed thought and the fear of failure that accompanies commitment. We must immediately replace this with the first great law of achievement, a definite chief aim, backed by a sense of urgency, which acts as a focusing lens for all your mental power, ensuring every action serves a central purpose, becoming your primary driving force. This singular focus eliminates mental static and concentrates the energy of the mind. Riches, or any major achievement that elevates you above the average man, are not attracted by wishes. They are attracted by the powerful magnetic force of a definite chief aim, which has been fused with burning desire. That frustration you feel over the past 5 years, the shame, the panic, the sense of falling behind, that is not a weakness. That is the emotional fuel, the necessary burning desire you must now use to create your definite chief aim. Every great fortune begins in the mind as an idea, but it is only the intensity of the desire for that idea which forces it into the material world. It is the mental heat that wells thought into reality, converting abstract concepts into tangible results and overcoming inertia, setting the process of manifestation in motion. Burning desire is the transformation of a vague hope into an intense, feverish, white-hot obsession. It is the necessary starting point of all achievement because it makes effort enjoyable and defeat unthinkable. You must choose to be obsessed. I do not mean obsessed in a destructive way, but obsessed with a single, clear purpose. The difference between those who succeed and those who drift aimlessly is that 95% of people lack a central purpose or definite goal. They wander through life, taking the first job offered, following the first instruction given, and reaching the conclusion of their journey, having built someone else's dream. Their energy is dissipated across a dozen mild interests instead of being concentrated into a single, irresistible force. They are victims of their environment, while the man with a definite aim becomes the master of his bending circumstances to his will and directing the force of his thought with precision. This central purpose acts as a compass, automatically filtering out all non-essential activity. Consider the example of Edwin C. Barnes. When Barnes first presented himself to Thomas Edison, he arrived appearing by his own account like a tramp. He had no money, no connections, and very little formal education. He was, in the eyes of the world, a non-entity, utterly lacking in superficial advantages, possessing only the clothes on his back and the idea in his mind. But he possessed a fierce mental attitude, driven by one clear, non-negotiable purpose. He was determined to become Thomas Edison's business associate. Not his employee, not his assistant, but his business associate. Edison did not see a partner that day. He saw a clerk. But the strength of Barnes's definite aim and the intensity of his desire were so palpable that Edison gave him a chance in a meager capacity. Barnes did not allow his environment to change his aim. He took the menial work, but he used it as an entry point, a strategic position to observe and learn, never losing sight of his ultimate intention, transforming a setback into an opportunity. For 5 years, he remained focused on that single goal, never once wavering or asking to be excused from his work, realizing that temporary labor was the price of entry and a necessary step in the plan. He demonstrated such relentless faith and such concentrated purpose that when the opportunity finally arose, when Edison's dictating machine needed selling, Barnes was the one who forced the opportunity to recognize him. He made his desire irresistible. He had no money or education, but he had definite purpose. He understood that thoughts mixed with purpose are a magnetic force that attracts their material counterpart. And this force will overcome any disadvantage, including poverty and lack of formal schooling, because it is an expression of universal law, the law of concentrated thought. This is the core concept, transforming vague wishes into urgent obsession. Your time is valuable. You must stop trading it for pleasant fantasies and start trading it for disciplined thought, which is the only form of effort that commands wealth and earns its reward. The human mind can only absorb and act upon definite commands. If you tell your mind, "I want to be rich," your mind has no instruction to execute. Rich is intangible, vague, and meaningless. But if you give your mind an exact, clear-cut target, your subconscious mind, which controls all manifestation, now has a blueprint to follow, and the law of attraction can operate effectively, bringing the necessary people and tools into your experience through the principle of harmony and focus. Action steps, structuring your first aim, Hill's trace. The great law of transmuting desire into reality requires you to follow these steps with the precision of a scientist, not the carelessness of a dreamer. Each step is designed to convert abstract desire into a tangible, executable plan. 1. Fix the exact target. You must determine the exact amount of money, or the exact position, or the exact goal you intend to acquire. You must know exactly what you want, when you want it, why you want it, and how you intend to get it, the 4WH formula. This detailed fixation prevents your mental energy from scattering, forcing clarity, and giving your subconscious a clear objective, leaving no room for guesswork. I speak of money because it is the standard measure of value in our world. But apply this principle to your health, relationships, or personal purpose, ensuring the goal is quantifiable and can be measured upon attainment. Do not say, "I want more money." Say, "I intend to possess the sum of $50,000 by the 31st of December next year." This statement is a specific command that can be acted upon by both your conscious and subconscious minds. 2. Set the non-negotiable deadline. Establish a definite date when you intend to possess what you desire. Why a deadline? Because time is running a race with you, and delay means defeat. The lack of a definite date is the chief weakness that eliminates ambition and encourages the comfortable laziness that wastes decades. This deadline is an instruction to your subconscious mind that the task is urgent and non-negotiable, activating a sense of accountability and forcing immediate planning, which is essential for momentum and breaking the habit of procrastination. 3. Define the return. Determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money or object you desire. I am speaking of the principle of fair exchange, the law of compensation. There is no such thing as something for nothing. You must pay for what you receive, whether through service or intellectual effort. Will you give specialized service? Will you give a certain number of hours of focused effort? The universe, the law of compensation, and your own integrity require that you render an equivalent value, and this value must be clearly defined in your statement, showing that you understand the terms of success and are prepared to render the necessary service without reservation. 4. Write the order. Write out a clear, concise statement of your aim. This statement must include the exact amount, the time limit, what you will render in return, and a brief description of the plan you will use. Writing transforms the intangible thought into a concrete form that your senses can confirm and that your subconscious mind can clearly absorb. This document becomes your constitution for achievement, a permanent record of your commitment and a daily reminder of your purpose, allowing no excuse for forgetting the aim. 5. Begin at once, ready or not. Create an initial, concrete, and definite plan for carrying out your desire, and begin at once to put this plan into action, even if you feel unready, inexperienced, or inadequately equipped, stop waiting for the time to be right. Stop waiting for the feeling of perfection. The time to act is now. The moment you begin to move, the laws of the universe begin to move with you, attracting the people and circumstances necessary to your success, as motion begets momentum and fear dissipates in the face of action, proving your sincerity to yourself and to the world. 6. Daily repetition. Read your written statement aloud, twice daily, once just before retiring at night, and once after arising in the morning. And as you read, see, and feel, and believe yourself already in possession of the goal, utilizing all 5 senses in your mental picture, making the vision a dominant reality in your mind. This repetition moves us to the next great step, as it impresses the definite command upon the subconscious mind through the principle of autosuggestion, making it the habitual thought pattern and building unwavering faith. This is the only way to effectively program the engine of your subconscious mind. Remember this: your life is no longer about wishing. It is about demanding. You have defined your target. Now you must prepare the mind to receive it. You must program your mind for victory. Subscribe to this channel now. Reprogramming the past. Autosuggestion and controlled faith. The reason your time blurs, the reason you feel behind, is that your brain has been magnetized toward failure consciousness. Your mind, through years of absorbing negative suggestions from others and from yourself, constantly attracts circumstances that harmonize with fear, doubt, and mediocrity. The habit of prompt and definite decision is impossible to sustain until you voluntarily feed your subconscious mind a new script, a new set of operating instructions, replacing the old, destructive programming that was imposed on you by your environment and past failures. You must intentionally force a new magnet into your brain, shifting its vibrational frequency toward success and definite purpose, establishing a new dominant thought. This is the law of autosuggestion. It is the medium through which you consciously communicate with your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind acts upon the thought impulses we feed it, making absolutely no distinction between a constructive thought, courage, faith, wealth, and a destructive thought, fear, poverty. Whatever is planted in the fertile ground of the subconscious, through repetition and emotion, it will translate into its physical equivalent. It is a mental servant that executes the orders you provide, whether those orders lead to success or failure, without questioning their source or validity, responding only to the intensity of feeling attached to the thought. If you have crippling doubt, negative self-talk, or the constant feeling that you are committed to failure, it is only because you have fed your subconscious mind the wrong instructions for too long, allowing the weeds of negative suggestion to choke the good seed of desire. You must now force faith into your consciousness. Faith is not an abstract religious concept. It is a state of mind that can be induced or created by the positive, repeated affirmation of instructions to the subconscious mind. Faith is the catalyst that transforms the energy of thought into its spiritual equivalent, providing the power necessary for creative action and sustaining the momentum created by desire, acting as the foundation upon which all achievement rests and overcoming the law of average failure. The way to acquire the belief or faith necessary to act decisively is through repetition of positive thought, emotionalized by desire, until the belief becomes automatic and habitual, dominating the mental landscape entirely. I recall the story of my son, Blair Hill, who was born without the ability to hear. The physicians had determined his condition was permanent, a physical finality that medical science could not overcome. But his mother, my wife, refused to accept this diagnosis. She possessed an intense, burning desire, a definite chief aim, that her son should hear and speak. She focused her every action, her every thought, on this definite purpose. She taught him to speak by force of her own will and insistence, placing his small hands on her face so he could feel the vibrations of her voice, day after day, year after year, until the purpose became reality, a testimony to the power of applied autosuggestion and unyielding maternal faith, proving that the mind can overcome physical limitations when infused with sufficient belief. Her mind, driven by that powerful belief and intense desire, translated the vision into reality, even overcoming physical affliction. What greater evidence do you need that the mind will translate anything into reality if it is backed by faith and intense, continuous desire? The power to conquer any environment or handicap lies within your command of your own mind, for the physical world is merely a reflection of the dominant thoughts held within, and that command is exercised through autosuggestion, which programs the subconscious builder to execute the vision. You must now force self-confidence to combat the fear and doubt of the past. If you do not conquer the mind, you will never conquer the market, because your external actions will always betray your internal lack of conviction, leading to hesitation and ultimate defeat, regardless of external opportunity or favorable circumstances. Action steps, mind control, and belief 1. Daily ritual of faith. You must follow the 6th step of the desire formula with absolute discipline. Read your written statement from section 1 aloud twice daily or more if necessary, but do not read it like a shopping list. You must mix emotion and feeling with your words, speaking with the conviction of a commander who expects to be obeyed. Plain, unemotional words are of no consequence. Only emotionalized thoughts influence the subconscious mind and drive it toward action. You are writing the final commands on your life's order sheet, and you must convey urgency and certainty, using all the feelings you can muster to charge the thoughts with kinetic energy, thereby making them irresistible and impressing them deeply. 2. Assume the person. Concentrate your thoughts for at least 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person you intend to become. Do not merely read the words of your aim. Create a clear mental picture of that person already in possession of the goal. See yourself giving the command, signing the contract, or holding the money, making the visualization as rich and realistic as possible, involving the sensations of success and the environment of achievement, so that your mind accepts it as fact. As you read, see, and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the goal. This is not dreaming. This is practical, applied faith, which uses the creative imagination to speed up the process of manifestation by making your mind familiar with success, effectively priming the pump of the subconscious and preparing the mental pathways. 3. Demand self-confidence. Devote 10 minutes daily to demanding of yourself the development of self-confidence and persistent action toward your definite purpose. Use an affirmation such as, I know I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action toward its attainment, and I hereby promise to render such action. This is how you develop the willpower necessary to control your own mind, ensuring it remains focused on the aim and immune to defeat. Reinforcing the master-servant relationship between your conscious and subconscious thoughts and making self-reliance habitual, which is the cornerstone of leadership and wealth accumulation. 4. Eliminate the ghosts. Recognize that the 3 enemies that stop the habit of action are indecision, doubt, and fear. These negative influences are the ghosts of the past. They must be mastered before the habit of decisive action can take hold. When a negative thought enters your mind, consciously replace it with a mental picture of your definite aim, performing a mental cleanup and deliberately injecting a positive thought to counter the negative one, thereby maintaining mental harmony and directed purpose. You are the master of your mind. If you do not control it, it will control you, and it will always default to the programming of the past, which is a program of failure, fed by the 6 basic fears that are inherent in the human condition. Chief among them, the fear of poverty and the fear of criticism. I must take a moment to speak plainly. If you are hearing these words and thinking, I will do that tomorrow, then this entire lesson is wasted. You are confirming the very habit that has held you back, rendering all your knowledge inert, and confirming your submission to procrastination. The principles of success are not secret. They are simply not followed. If you have listened this far, it means you seek freedom. Take the first action now. Commit to yourself, and let this moment, right now, be the final turning point. I ask that you, the viewer, take a moment now and share your definite purpose for the year ahead in the comments. State your purpose, your deadline, and one thing you are willing to give up to achieve it. Share your commitment with us, and let us witness your decision, reinforcing it through public declaration and solidifying the first step of your plan. You have performed the first test of your willpower by taking action just now. But the path ahead requires more than just thought. It demands immediate, non-hesitating movement. We now move to the essential piece, the habit that stops the clock entirely and guarantees the successful use of the time you have left, which is the habit of decision, the bridge between desire and deed, and the ultimate test of your sincerity. The mastery of procrastination, the habit of prompt decision. My friend, the relentless enemy of time is procrastination, and procrastination is the twin brother of indecision. They are the two primary chains that bind the late starter to their past, holding them fast to the spot where they first hesitated and preventing them from utilizing the time that remains. You can have the most burning desire, the clearest mental picture, and the most detailed plan, but if you do not possess the habit of prompt decision, you will cease progression with only potential to your name. Indecision is the chief flaw in the character of 98% of the population. This vast majority allows others or circumstances to choose their path, effectively surrendering their personal sovereignty and forfeiting the right to leadership and self-determination. The one habit that stops the clock and accelerates success is this: reaching decisions promptly and changing them slowly. If you want to accelerate your success and catch up the time you lost, you must master this law immediately. For a mind that is slow to decide is incapable of commanding wealth, as leadership requires immediate certainty and unwavering action in the face of uncertainty. My analysis of over 25,000 failures revealed that lack of decision was near the head of the list of major causes of failure. The story of success is simple. Successful leaders reach decisions promptly and change them slowly only when absolutely forced to do so by overwhelming new facts that prove the original decision was fundamentally unsound. Failures, on the other hand, do the opposite. They reach decisions, if at all, very slowly, and they change them quickly and often, confirming their lack of competence and earning the disrespect of those around them, becoming known for their unreliable judgment and perpetual hesitation. Prompt decision is not merely a virtue. It is a prerequisite for leadership, ownership, and freedom. The masses, the ones who follow, are notoriously slow in reaching decisions, and this is why they remain in the position of followers, unable to command their own circumstances or destiny, content to be carried along by the tide of events and the decisions of others. The moment you decide, you break from the masses and step onto the path of individual power. Do you remember Dr. Gonzalez, the great preacher and lecturer? He wished for 2 years to have $1 million to build a great school. The desire was there, but the indecision held him captive. He spent those years in mental stagnation, allowing his desire to remain abstract, lacking the crystallization necessary for action. Then he finally reached a definite decision to get the money within a week. That definite, prompt decision instantly created the necessary plan, and he was able to secure the $1 million not in a week, but in 36 hours. His action, based on prompt and definite decision, instantly changed his circumstance. The moment he truly decided, his mind began to seek the means, and the necessary creative faculties were activated, demonstrating the speed at which the universe responds to certainty and focused will. The core concept is this: decision is the antidote to time loss. The moment you make a decision, you force all your mental faculties, including your subconscious mind, to focus entirely on its execution. Before the decision, energy is scattered, dissipated by doubt and competing interests. After the decision, energy is directed power, like a river forced through a narrow channel, increasing its velocity and force, which is the momentum required for rapid achievement and time recovery, ensuring every effort counts. What is it that stops you from deciding? It is the fear of failure, the seeking of advice from too many people, resulting in confusion and diluted counsel, and the paralysis of the how-to. You wait until you know the entire path, but the path only reveals itself after the first step of decision is taken, as the necessary information only appears once motion has begun. You must act on the first definite idea that comes to you, for that idea is often the inspiration provided by your prepared subconscious, demanding immediate action before the moment of opportunity passes and the window of time closes on your ambition. Action steps: executing the habit 1. Do the distasteful first. The first great rule of action is to form the habit of each day doing the most distasteful or difficult task first. The man who willingly embraces the task he fears or dislikes most builds the mental discipline necessary for self-control and forces the prompt action habit into his nature. This act of self-mastery strengthens the will and eliminates the mental drag of anticipating unpleasant tasks, clearing the day for productive effort, and maintaining mental harmony throughout the process. If you defer the difficult tasks, you are training your mind for indecision, teaching yourself that delay is acceptable, and weakening your internal resolve. Attack it immediately. 2. Begin with the blueprint. Organized planning is the crystallization of your desire into action. The moment you reduce your practical plan to writing, you have definitely given concrete, communicable form to the intangible desire. A decision without a written plan is only a wish disguised as a thought. Your plan does not need to be perfect. It only needs to be a written beginning, a fixed object upon which to focus your effort, which can be revised daily as new information arrives, adapting the strategy without losing the definite aim or momentum. 3. Strategic silence. When putting your definite plans into practice, you must learn to keep your own counsel and keep your mouth closed. Talking too much about your aims not only deprives you of the useful knowledge that comes from listening, but it also discloses your plans to those who may try to frustrate you through envy, criticism, or ridicule, planting seeds of doubt in your mind and allowing energy to escape through premature expression, which often dissipates the necessary emotional charge. The weak-willed man cannot bear to receive negative suggestions, and the most common source is from those who are closest to him. Decide, then move silently. 4. Leap into action. This is the most important step for the late starter. Stop waiting for a definite plan or for the time to be perfect. Start with the plan you have. Begin at once to see yourself in possession of your goal, demanding and expecting your subconscious mind to supply the necessary refined plans. When those refined plans appear, often as an inspiration or flash of insight, put them into action immediately. Prompt decision is the accelerator pedal of your life, allowing you to cover in months the ground others take years to cross, mastering the present moment and utilizing the time you have left efficiently and powerfully, reclaiming lost years through decisive speed. Indecision is expensive. Every day you delay a decision, you are paying interest on a debt of time you cannot repay, and that debt accrues quickly, often compounded by lost opportunities. Decide now, today, to master the small decisions in your life, and the great decisions will follow as surely as night follows day, confirming your new identity as a leader who commands results and moves with purpose. The continuous action engine. Persistence over temporary defeat. You have a definite aim. You have commanded your mind, and you have embraced the habit of prompt decision. But all of this power collapses if you do not master the fourth great element, persistence. Without it, all the preceding steps are merely temporary mental exercises, destined to fade like smoke when the first wind of difficulty blows. The man who fails is the one who quits at the first sign of temporary defeat. The difference between the majority of men and the man of great success is that the successful man turns that historical failure into unbreakable persistence, the sustained, unceasing effort necessary to induce faith in the subconscious mind. Persistence is the final guarantee that your desire will be translated into its material equivalent, because it compels the universe to yield by demonstrating unwavering conviction and resilience in the face of all opposition. I tell you plainly, the clock is only stopped and the time you have lost is only recovered when continuous, persistent action becomes a fixed, rigid habit. You are never defeated until you accept defeat as a reality. The temporary setback is merely a test of your resolve, a necessary stage that separates the earnest student from the casual wisher, separating the leaders from the followers who lack the staying power. Persistence is not a gift. It is a state of mind which may be cultivated, and it is based fundamentally upon the intensity of one's desire. The lack of persistence is a weakness common to the majority of men, and it is one of the most common causes of poverty. It is the tendency to quit when the going becomes difficult, often due to a lack of a clear, written plan or a strong mastermind alliance, both of which are designed to support persistence by providing counsel and encouragement during the inevitable hard times. Think of R.U. Darby's uncle, who quit digging just 3 feet from the gold vein. He had the aim, he had the plan, but he lacked the persistence to push through one more temporary defeat, selling his assets for a pittance because he misread temporary adversity as permanent failure. He quit, and he sold his machinery to a man who, upon consulting an engineer, continued the digging only 3 feet farther and struck one of the richest gold mines in Colorado. The lesson is that the gold is almost always found just past the point where the majority of men stop. The margin between quitting and succeeding is often incredibly thin, measured in mere moments or steps, demonstrating the tremendous cost of giving up too soon and proving the value of one last persistent effort. I myself, in my study of the laws of success and failure, met with temporary defeat 10,000 times before achieving my ultimate goal. Defeat is not failure. Defeat is only a signal that the plan you are using is unsound. It is an opportunity to build new plans and attack again with increased wisdom, benefiting from the lessons learned and sharpening the strategy based on feedback from the effort. The persistent man knows this law. Your current pain is only proof that your plan was insufficient, not that you are insufficient. You must train yourself to see defeat not as a wall, but as a curve in the road, requiring only a change in direction, not a halt in motion, utilizing the wisdom gained from the setback to forge a stronger path that leads inevitably to success. Action steps, forging unbreakable willpower 1. Acknowledge adversity as asset. Do not mistake temporary defeat for permanent failure. You must train your mind to recognize that every adversity, every setback, and every temporary defeat brings with it the seed of an equivalent advantage, though the seed may not be immediately visible, requiring careful cultivation and intellectual effort to uncover its value. Defeat should only serve as an urge to greater effort, a refinement of the plan. When you feel like quitting, you are closest to the breakthrough, because the non-persistent man has already left the field, leaving the reward for you to claim through superior endurance and mental toughness. 2. Conquer the critics. One of the most common forces that destroys ambition and plans is the fear of criticism. This enemy, which often exists in the subconscious mind, must be overcome by closing your mind tightly against discouraging and negative influences, building an immediate mental barrier against all doubt and suggestion. This especially includes relatives and friends who are often well-meaning, but who, through their own poverty, consciousness, or fear, seek to drag you back to their level. You must refuse to allow another person's limitation to become your own. Build an armor of indifference against criticism, recognizing that those who criticize rarely achieve anything noteworthy themselves, and their judgment is irrelevant to your definite aim and purpose. 3. The 4 pillars of persistence. You must ensure your daily action is supported by these 4 specific elements. Lack of any one of them will cause you to falter, like a chair missing a leg, and rendering the whole structure unstable and liable to collapse under pressure. a definite purpose backed by a burning desire, a definite plan expressed in continuous action, a mind closed tightly against all negative and discouraging influences, a friendly alliance mastermind to encourage follow-through and sustain effort, especially during periods of doubt and temporary setback, providing the necessary external support and moral backing. 4. Embrace the QQS habit. For the man seeking to catch up the time he lost, your daily service and effort must become a habit bound by the QQS formula: quality, quantity, and spirit. The quality of your work must be high, the quantity must be sufficient to meet demand, but the spirit, the agreeable and harmonious conduct in which the service is rendered, is crucial. The spirit speaks to your mental attitude. This is how you attract your future mastermind and future business. When you render service with a positive, cooperative, and harmonious mental attitude, you attract those who command wealth, as success is attracted by harmony and competence. When you serve with complaint, resentment, or a poverty mindset, you attract only more scarcity and difficult people. Do not work for money alone. Work with the spirit of excellence and harmony, and the money will follow as a reward for superior service, adhering to the law of compensation and ensuring longevity in your endeavors. Persistence is the single quality that separates the master from the servant. Make your action so continuous, so predictable, that it becomes a force of nature, an unstoppable rhythm that carries you forward despite obstacles. Do not let the temporary defeat of yesterday command the action of today. Organizing the time multiplier, master mind, and accelerated knowledge. If you feel late in life, if you feel you have insufficient time left to build the life you desire, the fastest and most efficient way to catch up is to stop working alone. The lone wolf is often the one who dies hungry, because they are limited to the span of their own life and mind, which is inherently finite and susceptible to internal discouragement and limited knowledge. Power is organized effort. You must employ the mastermind principle to multiply your personal time and circumvent the handicap of limited personal knowledge, effectively extending your reach exponentially and rapidly filling knowledge gaps, turning decades of individual effort into years of collective action. Power is defined as organized and intelligently directed knowledge. This organized effort is produced through the coordination of two or more people working toward a definite end in a spirit of harmony. The individual's time and specialized knowledge are always limited. The only way to achieve quickly what normally takes decades is to leverage the minds, time, and knowledge of others through a harmonious alliance, creating a synergistic force whereby the mental energy of two or more minds is greater than the sum of its individual parts, tapping into infinite intelligence more effectively and generating original ideas. This mastermind alliance is the only way to quickly access the specialized knowledge necessary to succeed without the years required for formal education. It allows you to borrow the brains and experience of others, tapping into a collective wisdom far superior to your own, solving complex problems rapidly and accurately, saving precious time that the late starter cannot afford to waste. Look at Andrew Carnegie. He accumulated millions of dollars, not by his superior, specialized knowledge of steel making. He knew relatively little of the technical processes himself, but by organizing a mastermind group of men who possessed the exact specialized knowledge he lacked men like Schwab and Frick, he recognized the value of organized effort. He was the organizing mind, the leader, and the director, and that required a superior kind of intelligence, the intelligence to coordinate, which is the mark of a true financial commander who understands the law of increasing returns. Through synergy and delegation of specialized tasks to those most competent, you may lack the knowledge of the past, but you do not need to spend 10 years in a classroom. You only need to know how to organize and direct the knowledge that already exists in the minds of others. The person who organizes and directs a mastermind group is just as much a person of education as any person in the group, because they possess the supreme skill of coordination and the ability to combine diverse talents for a common purpose, which is the highest form of executive skill and true leadership, making the collective intellect their own. Action steps: building power and eliminating blocks 1. Form the harmonious alliance. First, identify the specialized knowledge you lack to meet your deadline. Then, immediately identify the individual who possesses it. Ally yourself with this group or individual. This alliance must maintain perfect harmony and a definite purpose, for disharmony guarantees failure by scattering the collective energy and creating friction, destroying the synergistic effect. Your offer to them must be a fair exchange, your time, your service, or your own specialized knowledge in return for their counsel and cooperation, ensuring mutual benefit and lasting cooperation, establishing the QQS principle within the alliance from the start. 2. Acquire necessary knowledge. Use your mastermind members to quickly fill the gaps in your specialized knowledge. Do not seek general education. Seek only the specialized knowledge that is directly related to the attainment of your definite purpose, making your learning efficient and targeted, a process known as selective absorption and directed effort. Treat every person you meet as a potential resource for knowledge or a potential ally in your mastermind, cataloging their strengths mentally for future use, expanding your intellectual reach far beyond your physical presence and current limitations. 3. Control your mental environment. The late starter must be ruthlessly effective in eliminating negativity. Recognize that you are susceptible to the negative influences of those around you, and these influences enter your mind through the power of suggestion, often unconsciously, sabotaging your faith and resolve. You must use your willpower constantly to build a wall of immunity against all negative influences and those who discourage you, especially in your own home or daily work environment, where they are most insidious and difficult to avoid. The man who commands his wealth must first command his environment, allowing no negative influence to occupy his mental space, thereby preserving the clarity needed for prompt decision and focused thought. 4. Use imagination as a resource. I urge you to begin the practice of conducting an invisible council meeting daily. This is the process of connecting your mind with infinite intelligence through the sixth sense, the creative imagination, a faculty that lies dormant in most people, but which can be awakened through autosuggestion and definite thought. Conduct imaginary meetings with mentors, imaginary or real, such as Carnegie, Ford, or Lincoln. Ask their advice on your plan, listening carefully to the answers your subconscious mind provides, which may arrive as sudden, brilliant inspiration or clear, practical plans. This process makes your mind receptive to inspiration, the plans that seem to flash into your mind through the creative imagination. These inspired plans are often the necessary shortcuts that will help you recover the time you lost, revealing new angles and perspectives that rational thought alone could not uncover, accelerating your progress dramatically and bypassing years of trial and error. The one habit analogy, the engine of freedom. Let us now bring the entire philosophy back to the single essential habit we set out to build: prompt and definite decision backed by continuous action. This habit is not a single tool. It is a powerful engine you must forge and then drive without stopping. Desire is the fuel. It provides the burning, non-negotiable energy to move, ensuring the engine never runs dry, and the purpose is sustained through all adversity and difficulty. Autosuggestion is the ignition system. It forces the belief faith necessary to turn the key and overcome the inertia of the past, starting the engine with conviction and mental readiness. Organized planning provides the blueprint for the moving parts. It gives the engine direction and efficiency, ensuring no energy is wasted on random motion or confusion. Prompt decision is the accelerator pedal. It is the immediate, non-hesitating command to go, putting the power down on the road, increasing your velocity in life, and maximizing momentum gained. Persistence is the constant maintenance and oil that keeps the engine running through grit and heat, refusing to stop at the first sign of friction or temporary defeat, ensuring longevity and durability for the long haul. And finally, The mastermind acts as the transmission, allowing the power you generate to be instantly amplified and directed toward your ultimate goal, ensuring you catch up to the time you lost by leveraging multiple forces and achieving superior efficiency and coordinated effort. The blur of time stops when you start moving with definiteness. Your life up to this point may be a monument to indecision and procrastination, but that history ends the moment you choose to act now, taking control of your personal clock and becoming the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. This entire philosophy rests on one question: are you willing to pay the price? The price is not money. It is the discipline of continuous, definite action, the only currency the universe accepts for great achievement, and the only proof of your sincerity and belief in your definite purpose. I urge you now, if you know someone who feels stuck, someone who feels behind or held back by a toxic environment, share this message with them. You may be providing them with the turning point they are waiting for. The time for waiting is over. You are not too late, but you do not have time to waste. Embrace your purpose now. Build your engine of freedom today. This channel walks with you on the path of definite achievement, urging you to action now, for the moment of truth is always the present.